Standing Committee on Public Accounts has met with the Eskom board and management at the Power Utilities headquarters in Johannesburg today. Scopa is investigating after the former Eskom boss Andre de Ruyter maladministration, corruption and sabotage allegations. Our reporter Moloko Moloto was tracking that story for us. He was at Megawatt Park when Scopa was there making its oversight visit. Welcome back, Moloko. Good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Well, it's not the first time that Scopa has done an oversight visit to Eskom. This is one of several. It's really, I understand, it was primarily about the corruption allegations that Mr. Andre de Ruyter, who is no longer CEO, made, especially in that interview with our colleague Annika Larsen here on eNCA a few months ago. Are they getting to the bottom of these things?
Good evening, Braden Moyane. Well, you're correct. The allegations were first made public during an eNCA interview, but also before Parliament, and also in his book that Andre de Ruyter wrote. And at issue here, Scopa wanted to know as to whether the new board of Eskom up to now has done anything in as far as those allegations are concerned. And the board was, you'd recall, it was appointed in September last year.
Fairly new board.
Correct, but they have been in office for 10 months. According to Andre de Ruyter, he has told them about the report following the investigation that he commissioned, the so-called intelligence report that details the extent of corruption within Eskom. He told them in February already. It's June. Still, they haven't seen that particular report. This is despite the fact that the SIU has that report. Some sections of the media have that report. So as the board, they haven't seen it. And they are saying that it is difficult for them to even start acting when they have not seen the report. And obviously, Scopa is unhappy with the slow pace of holding those responsible accountable, with Khuleko Hlengwa, the chairperson of Scopa, even saying that he doesn't get a sense that there's urgency, considering the fact that names of politicians, although their names were not mentioned, but the Ruyter has said there are politicians who also are involved in this alleged corruption, and he's saying we want those names. Maybe let's listen to him as he was responding to specifically that question as to whether they are satisfied or not.
We are somewhat confident that we are making headway in piecing the puzzles of this mess, in identifying the leakages and the loopholes in terms of how this matter should have happened. We don't doubt the bona fides of the new board. And it would be too early for us to judge them. However, at the same time, one must add that said, it was a missed opportunity for the board not to have actually interrogated the issues Mr. de Ruyter raised in February, and somewhat only agreed to his leaving of Eskom and not substantively deal with the issues. That has left a lot of question marks, bringing us to this moment.
Many question marks. Let's hope perhaps after this Scopa oversight visit, there will be some expeditious movement by the board to get hold of that report. Now, there were other concerns raised by Scopa today, I understand, Moloko. One of them is the re-employment in one form or another of the former COO, the Chief Operating Officer, Johan Oberholzer. Tell us about that.
Yes, Johan Oberholzer retired sometime this year. He was the second man in charge as the Chief Operating Officer. He essentially was responsible for the functioning of power stations. Now, he retired and Eskom decided to do away with that position of COO. However, the acting Chief Executive Officer told Scopa today that he has decided to bring him back and give him the position of project manager to look specifically at the functionality of Kusile Power Station and the Quebec Power Station in Cape Town. And that position was created specifically for him. And Scopa had really concerns about that. He is given the same salary that he was getting when he left that position of COO. We know he was not earning anything less than 5 million rand a year. And the Scopa has really questioned, because they are saying this is the same man who was there when this mess at the power stations was happening. Yet you, instead of holding him accountable when he leaves, you bring him back to give him a position. He's going to be there for 2 years. Now, another question that was asked by Scopa was, if this man is going to be here for 2 years, what will happen when the new CEO is appointed? Because he was appointed by you, he reports to you. Is he going to work with the incoming CEO, even though he would you would no longer be there, possibly? And the board also said that it had issues with the reappointment of Obelhoza.
Very interesting. I just listening to you, I'm wondering, what does the Minister of Electricity make of this? We'll have to find out as time goes on. Okay, there's also concern about the R500 million security contract that's been awarded, apparently without issuing out a tender, and that came up today?
Yeah, well, I think just to go back to this important question you are making as to what will the security minister say, I think the rightful minister would be Minister Pravin Gordhan, because he's the one who appointed that board that is overseeing the operations of Eskom. Now, the 500 million rand contract awarded to Fidelity Services security contract issued out without or awarded without issuing out a tender for competitive bidding raised a whole lot of issues. That particular contract is now up for discussion. There's a forensic investigation happening within Eskom. The executive manager responsible for security has been suspended. Members of Scopa are questioning why, because this contract was approved by Obelhoza. Why was he not held accountable as the COO? He is now being rewarded with a position of project manager, while the general manager has now been suspended.
Clearly, I must get this comment out. All is not well at Eskom. I mean, really? You do this in the middle of everything else. We'll see what that forensic investigation into this R500 million security contract will produce. Thank you very much, Moloko Moloto. And Mr. Jan Obelhoza is back on a very nice, lovely 2-year contract there at Eskom.